Hi, I'm Candace, and this is Fitness and Harmonies. This is yoga and Pilates together to nourish your roots. So I've been sick the past week or so, and so I haven't been getting on the floor and doing all my work, and my body has turned into one big ball of healing energy. So now it's time. It's time for me to break out, to shake up all of those tight holdings. So let's come down to the floor. Let's gather around and nourish our roots together. Let's bring our hands to the heart. Swim your shoulders onto your back. Rock your pelvis forward and back. I'm going to give you a second. And then lift the spine up tall, aligning and stacking the vertebrae one at a time. Draw the crown of the head slightly back, so like somebody's pushing your chin back. Hold that there. Now, without looking down, what I want you to try to do is pull your abdominals in and then let them out. Pull them in, let them out. So do that a few times. I want you to gain control and mastery first of the belly. The space from the ribs to the hips is only controlled by sheets of abdominal muscle and the diaphragm muscle. I haven't been doing a good breathing session because I have some things in my sinuses. Now squeeze that in and hold. Keep squeezing in. Now practice inhaling the ribs out and in. The ribs out and in. If you can breathe through your nose, try to breathe just through your nose. If you need to breathe through your mouth, that's always available to you. So now notice the difference. While the lower belly is holding in and staying contracted, the ribs, and that includes the diaphragm, are moving out to their fullest potential and in. So what breathing does is it clears the airways. It boosts lung capacity, this breathing practice, and it increases the oxygen intake through the entire body. Now let's do some arm movements. So remember, pelvis is rocked just a little bit forward, lower abdominals are pulled in, they're holding there, the ribs are going out and in, the shoulders stay rolled onto the back, the head slightly back. Now, inhale and circle the arms up. And then exhale, reach the arms up and over. So lean to your side. Inhale, come up. Exhale, lean to the other side. Do that again. So inhale, float up. Exhale, stretch up and over. Inhale, float up. Exhale, up and over. Good. So this time, come up and extend slightly back. Widen the arms and squeeze the shoulder blades together. So what I want you to focus on today is opening up the chest. So again, I've had this congestion. Mostly it's in my sinuses and the back of my throat there. But I want to make sure that I'm using the energy from the belly to open up the chest to increase lung capacity. Inhale up. Now turn to one side and let the arms down. Now carefully from here, drop your chin to your chest and take the top of your head and rock it forward and down. There's a big swath of muscle on the back of the neck and the shoulder there, and it gets tense from everyday living, but it especially gets tense when we're cold or we're not feeling well. And at this time of year, there's an inclination to pull inward. Not to just go out, let everything out, but we're curling inwards. So we want to stretch out any tension that we built up there. Take a deep breath in and exhale, lift your head up. Come back into center, bring the hands to the heart. Inhale, circle up. Just bring the hands back down to the heart. Exhale, scoop the belly in and up. Let's do that again. I want you to get the feeling that when the arms go up, you're preparing. When you're inhaling, you're preparing. When the arms go down, you're scooping the belly inward, and then that's when we're moving. This time, lift the arms up overhead. Lean side to side. So exhale over. Good. Inhale up and exhale over. So you're lengthening on one side of the body more. Do that again. So ask your body and your mind to concentrate on the here and the now. So explore the roots and the connections. This time, come up, extend slightly back, Widen the arms and really focus on taking the shoulder blades and rocking them backward. So the tips of the shoulder blades go forward and the tops of the shoulder blades go backwards. This is going to become important. One of the chest opening exercises we're going to do is called like Uncoiling the Cobra. Inhale, come up, turn to the other side, let the arms down. Now notice I'm not telling you to twist the spine. There's a tendency here to want to grab onto something and pull your spine into a deep twist. Don't do that. From here, drop the chin towards the collarbone. Take the top of the head forward and soften as best you can the tension that you've been holding. This week, we're working on connecting to the roots, going back to the simple practice of breathing. So breathe in through the nose. Remember, all of those principles apply. Hold the lower belly in place, gaining control over the belly energy and moving the ribs out and in. So we're fully nourishing all the roots that are inside the body, as well as the ones that support us outside, like friends and family and the support network that you have. Lift the head up, turn back to the center. From here, let's come to a seated pose. Take the legs out and in front. Bring the soles of the feet to the floor. You got it. Hold on to the back of the thighs. Now from here, practice inhaling the chest forward, exhaling and scooping, curling, rounding the back and dropping the chin to the chest. So it's inhale, spread everything out. Exhale, curl in. So what we're doing is gaining control and mastery of the ribs to hips space. So we started out with a breathing practice. We started out, the very first thing I asked you to do is learn how to contract those muscles and the difference between contracting them and not contracting them. So some people would call that stretching them, whatever you want to call that. But notice that everything is changing and we want to help the body direct that change in a way that connects us to more mastery, more control. 2 more times. So as you're moving, begin to feel this body suit breaking up. Now lean back and hold. Now lengthen the spine. So straighten the spine, just like when we were seated in that pose before. The same thing. The opening of the pelvis directs the spine upward. Remember, your head is slightly back, but not rocked back. So we're always keeping kind of the crown of the head facing up at the sky. That keeps the nasal passages open. After 3 breaths, keep lengthening the front of the spine equally with the back of the spine. 2, remember, you're mastering the abdominals. And 1, it's been a while. So he's like, what are you doing? You haven't gotten on the floor in a while, Mom. What are you doing? Let's stretch one leg out. Fold the other leg in. Now I want you to find a sits bone. So rock side to side until you find those 2 pointy protrusions at the base of the hips. And make sure that you feel them in the floor. You should be on kind of a hard surface. Turn towards that long straightened leg and point and flex the foot for a second or 2. Then flex the foot back and hold. Now you may want to get a strap for this. If you have a strap, by all means, grab that strap and wrap it around the ball mounds of the foot. Inhale. Exhale. Practice that Pilates scoop, pulling the abdominals inward and upward. Inhale. Now as you exhale, give the strap a little pull and lever at the top of the leg, up and over that leg. So notice I didn't say pull your body down. It may go there, but we're levering the back of the leg. Let's stay here a little while and breathe. What I want you to do is Ujjayi, that's a yoga term for a victorious breath. And how you do that is you inhale through the nose and expand the ribs, the chest, the lungs. You exhale through the nose and you vibrate the vocal cords just enough. So you're kind of closing off part of the throat so the air currents vibrate. And what this does is it actually initiates kind of like a clearing out or a cleansing, kind of like you're scrubbing out the back of the throat. So it's a sound like Do that 3 times. And then come up. Let's try the other leg. So at first, just fold one leg in, stretch the other leg out, rock side to side to find those sits bones. You may have some flesh back there that has to move out of the way. Once you find those sits bones, plug them in like you're planting the roots. Point and flex this foot back a few times to wake up the ankle and the feet bones. Flex back, hold. If you want to use the strap, this is the time to wrap it around the ball mounds of the foot. Inhale. As you exhale, practice scooping, almost like a wave. Remember, we're shaking up. We're breaking out of the ball of stress and holding that we've been. Inhale when you're ready. As you exhale, give the strap a little pull and lever. Hinge at the top of the leg only, not the low back. Now, I can't really stress this enough. One thing I said is don't twist too far. This one is probably more important. Don't round the low back too much. So I've been doing this a long time, and I've seen a lot of hurt backs in my time. And that's really the number one thing that we're doing too much of, even in our yoga practice, but especially in the real world. We're seated and we let our low back roll back too far, too long. So that's the number one thing to remember if your low back is ever hurting, is to keep it extended. We're going to do a lot of extensions today. Give me a breath or two. Hear that, feel that vibration. That's important to boost oxygen so the lungs know this is your job. Release that out. Let's come down onto the back. When you get there, bring the knees and stack them up over the hips. So find the back. I'm going to call it the back rim of the pelvis. Then find the rims of the shoulder blades. So the shoulder blades and the 2 pelvic bones, they kind of have the same general shape. There's these 2 plates. So find the rims, the edges of those 2 things, so that your body becomes a rectangle that's all even. Press the arms into the floor. Drop the chin slightly down. Let's just practice. Squeeze the belly, release the belly. Remember we did this before? Squeeze the belly, release the belly. So if someone were looking at you, they should visibly be able to see the abdominals moving because you are consciously moving them. Now squeeze and hold. Inhale the ribs out. Squeeze the belly, squeeze the ribs. So like you're expectorating everything that you no longer need. There might be a lot there. Do that again. Now slowly drop one leg down, keeping the knee in a fixed position until the toe approximately comes near the floor, and then draw it back up. Inhale. As you exhale, brace the abdominals, drop the other leg down, keep the knee in a fixed position, and then back up. Inhale, exhale, the other leg down and up. Inhale. Exhale, the other leg down and up. Now, what I want you to practice as you continue to alternate one leg and then the other is controlling this ribs to hip place. Because if you've been like me and you've been just doing nothing, like healing for a little while, you have a lot of energy. And you need to be able to use that energy and to nourish all the pathways of the body. So keep controlling the ribs to the hip and make sure that the spine, the low back, the lumbar is being held and supported, because we want to feel nourished and have our roots holding us. Now, if you can extend both legs up, rotate and twist the leg bones out, push the heels together. From here, drop the heels down, bending the knees, and then push the heels up, squeezing the inner back of the legs together. So it's inhale down, Exhale, squeeze and push up. Inhale down. Now, when you plunge these feet up, I want you to imagine your belly is being pushed down. So I'm not going to say don't do the legs, but don't focus on the legs. Focus on the legs being like the handles of scissors or something. And they're causing the belly to go down with the exhale. So the legs are controlling the belly. There's this belly breath. So practice more. Don't just go through these motions. I like the kind of practice and exercises where you have to concentrate. So concentrate more and control the stretch. A lot of us, when we put our legs all the way up, the back of the legs get a super big stretch there. Make sure you're controlling the low back. The low back shouldn't be pushing down into the floor very hard. It may be touching, but it shouldn't be pushing into the floor. 2 more times. Exhale, suck the belly down, push out through the mouth or the nose. Now leave the legs up. I want you to cross at the ankles. The legs are still turned out, so they still look kind of weird. And see if you can drop the legs down away from you about 45 degrees. Squeeze the abdominals and bring them back up. So inhale the legs down away from you. It could be an inch. Exhale, squeeze the abdominals, bring the legs back up. Concentrate now. Remember we stretched out the neck and the shoulders. That was one of the first stretches we did. And I said, you're holding there. You're holding there now. I want you to pay attention to that. And you may need a certain amount of control and stabilization of the arms pushing down, but don't overdo it. So don't place on one part of the body all the compensation for what the other part of the body should be doing. Your abs should be doing all of the work here. 2 more times. All right, with the legs now up, take this top leg and slide the foot down to over the knee or the ankle. If your opposite hand can hold on to that foot, then do that. That other leg, just bend it and let the foot fall. Just hold there for a breath or 2. And I want you to slow down and relax your breath here. Then let your legs move in the direction of this foot. So kind of pull this foot over and onto the floor. Now, if that means your whole body rolls over, maybe your body doesn't twist, that's okay. Let that happen. Now you're holding on to this bottom foot. Pull it in towards you a little bit. This is a really delicious glute, outer thigh, low back, outer hip stretch. I want you to breathe 3 long breaths here. Remember, our goal today is to nourish our roots, to breathe again. So explore the vascular network of roots inside and outside of your body. So keep expanding a little bit more with each breath. Roll back into center. I want you to grab this top leg, so foot and knee, and pull it in towards your chest. So we're getting a nice little stretch on the outer, this is called the IT band, the iliotibial band. This is the outer thigh that holds the knee together. I guess that's one way of saying it. It holds the legs from buckling. Now take your opposite hand and wrap it around the outer edge of this foot. I don't know, maybe you can't reach, that's all right. Maybe you just hold the knee there. Then pull this leg out to the side, so you're rolling back onto your back, and pull this knee down next to your side ribs. Now, if I can hold my foot, then I'm really plugging this knee down. This is called half happy baby. Really give me some good Ujjayi breaths. And what this does is fosters a flow to direct the change of energy in your body. Energy is a real thing. Sometimes we talk about it in kind of flowery, I don't know, metaphorical terms, but energy is absolutely a real thing that we can measure and we can direct. 2 more breaths. Don't hyper tense the neck or the shoulders here. And then release that leg. Bring the feet to the floor, but widen your feet. Bring the arms up overhead. Let them be a little bit wide. Let your knees swipe gently side to side. Go slowly until you can feel. Don't just go through the motions, right? We're not just doing an exercise that's directed because you're doing the exercise. You're trying to expand your consciousness into the spaces in your body more. Do 3 breaths. I want the upper body here to be completely open and relaxed here, and the lower body to sort of be spinning out the energy. It's producing something. Come back to center, bring the arms down, plug the shoulder blades, the arms, and the hands into the floor. Lift those legs up. I should have told you before. We're going to recross the legs the other way. You say, which way, Candace? Well, you had one leg crossed a second ago, so now that's the one that's behind you. If you can't figure that out, I apologize. I should have reminded you. So remember, the leg bones are turned out. From here, brace the abdominals. Control the low back. Inhale. As you exhale, let the legs drop away from you without your pelvis rocking, and then bring the legs back up. So now it's inhale the legs down, brace the abdominals, exhale the legs up. Now what I really want you to analyze, get your microscope out, is no movement from your hips to your head. Your legs are probably doing something because I just told you to do something. And of course, your belly is doing a lot of like breathing, holding, stabilizing, but nothing. The spine isn't moving. The pelvis isn't moving. So slow your roll. Check in and concentrate. Don't just go through the motions here. That your pelvis is staying perfectly still. Because I know you can move your legs. We already stretched out the legs and how the legs move in the hip socket. Don't over contract or congest, the throat and the lungs up here. Let the side ribs do some of the breathing. 2 more times. Manage from ribs to hips. Come up. Now fold, or I should say bend this top knee, so ankle. Grab onto the outer edge of this top foot. Let this other leg bend and the foot fall. Give me 2 breaths. They're just exploring this new shape. Then let the legs fall over on the side of this foot. So your hand's kind of directing your foot to the floor, even if that means you roll all the way onto your side. Don't be so hard on yourself. It's okay if your body is what it is. Remember, we can only control our behavior. We can't control the outcome. You should feel the stretch on the outer fascia web and maybe even a little bit into the low back. Redirect your mind to a slower, more flowing breath. Let's do 3 breaths here. Just breathe. Don't try to do too much. If you can only focus on one thing, let it be the breath, not these complex maneuvers. Come back and into center. Grab the knee, the outer knee, and the side of the foot and pull that towards the chest. Hold that there for a breath or 2. Breathe fully. Then take the same side hand. If you can wrap it around the outer edge of the foot, do that. Pull this leg out and then drive this knee towards the floor. So really good. back of the hip stretch here. With these breaths, let your belly expand. So before, we were controlling the abdominal area with the muscles. Now let the belly move because of the breath. So we're not holding tight right now. Two more breaths. Kind of give your head a turn side to side. And then release the leg down. And then make your way all the way up, maybe peeling chin to chest, rounding the upper back, the middle back, the lower back, or maybe you did that a lot faster. Let's come around to child's pose. So I'm just going to point out that I'm not going to do child's pose because when you have congestion in your sinuses, the back of your throat, you probably don't want a face down, head down pose. You do want your head back, face up poses. But here you are in child's pose. Walk your hands forward and push your hips back. Do 3 long breaths. Control the motion of the breath, moving through these fascial webs. We just stretched out the sides of the hips. So maybe your breath can go deeper. Let it stream down. Come all the way forward, down onto the belly. Now bring your legs together. Bring the heels mostly together. Maybe they don't meet, and point the toes. Bring your hands next to your side ribs, about chest level. Inhale. Exhale. Do 2 or 3 of those. The only purpose, the only thing of this exhale is to shoot the length of your spine like a telescope up. By up, I mean towards the top of your head. So the tail's moving down towards the heels. Remember, we're squeezing slightly together. And the top of the head is moving in opposing directions. One more breath. Now, brace the lower belly. You should be able to pull it a little bit up off the floor because we practiced that. Roll the shoulders onto the back. Inhale. Now, as you exhale, lift the chest forward and a little bit upward, uncoiling the chest. The chest has been all coiled and in together. Inhale at the top. And then exhale, uncoil. Let the body come back down. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest up, pull the chest to the front wall in front of you. Inhale and exhale. Keep scooping the belly as you come down. So it's inhale, exhale, roll up, stretch the belly. Inhale, squeeze the legs together. Exhale, roll down. Now this isn't all just your arms. In fact, it shouldn't be very much of your arms. Exhale, squeeze the belly to extend and lengthen the front of the chest. Exhale, squeeze the belly to lightly uncoil the spine. Again, exhale, up, shoulder blades back, legs squeezing together. Exhale, down. 2 more times. So this is a really good exercise for cleaning out that throat. Don't over compress the shoulders, always. Rely on the roots, on the abdominals. And then let's push up into hands and knees. Push back into downward dog. So lift up. All right, from here, if you can, shift your weight right and left. So sort of lean hips to one foot, lean hips to the other foot. So like you're walking, I guess, and sort of twisting out the lower body. Now lean to one side and hold. Come to the edges of both feet. Push the hips further back. And this other hand, reach it further forward. So your hips are leaning and falling in one direction, and your arm and your rib are pushing over in the opposite direction, really opening up this low back, this kidney area. 3 breaths. 2. You got it. Now go to the other side. Here we go. So roll the hips onto the edges of the feet there. Push the hips back. By back, I mean away from your hands. And then take this opposite arm 1 step forward and slide your ribs over in the direction of that side hand. So hips are leaning off to one side, and your ribs and your arm and your shoulder are pushing away from that hip. A nice long diagonal. So what we did today is we're breaking up, we're shaking up, we're getting rid of that mass of holding. 2 more breaths. Come back to center. Let's try stepping 1 foot forward. Now here's where I grab blocks. Completely optional, by the way, friends. Not necessary. I'm going to call this dragon pigeon. Are you ready? So walk your foot over towards the opposite hand. It's not there in the center of the mat. It's moved over to one edge. Then let your knee fall outward. Pause there. Probably most of your weight is in your hands. And then see if you can come down lower. So I'm going to come off these blocks and come down a little bit lower. Now make sure you're squaring your body. Don't twist over onto your side. Keep this other hip down. I'm going to call this dragon pigeon, right? We're sort of flying pigeon pose here. Give me 3 breaths. We're still stretching this outer fascial web on the outer hip. And then come back up. So wiggle your foot back up. Come all the way up. So from here, leave the legs in a low lunge, but stretch the arms up and overhead. Now extend back. All right, let's just hold this one. This is such a good one for waking up the chest, for summoning energy from the earth. So we're talking about nourishing the roots. So picture how the earth really nourishes us. 3. Keep lifting the chest forward and up, forward and up. And then come back down. Come all the way down and back into hands and knees pose. Move back into downward dog. So lift up, float back. Stay here or move forward into plank pose. Shoulder blades slide down the back. The body gets super straight. Connect and integrate the arms to the shoulders to the spine. Push back into downward dog. I'll always come back and pick you up. I'll never leave you. And then from here, step the other foot forward. So we're coming back. Blocks optional, low lunge. Pause there. I've been seated a very long time. Either I'm sitting in my recliner or laying down. And so the front of my hip flexor has gotten really, really tight. So I need a little extra stretch there to open up the front of the body. Remember, boosting oxygen intake, exploring the pathways of energy through the body. Now walk your foot over to the opposite edge of the mat. Just like walked all the way over. And then let the knee fall open and away. Put a little bit of weight there. Now be careful. We did this when we were laying down. Remember, we were hugging that leg in. But now we're doing it in a lot more precarious position. So explore what's possible. Don't break this ankle. Leave this ankle straight and hard. You're twisting at the outer hip. Come down a little bit lower maybe. That's Phineas pose, by the way. He goes down on one side like that. That's Phineas pose. 2 more breaths. And then come back up. So walk this foot. Come up into, it's still called low lunge. It's just that your upper body comes up and extends back. Keep exploring. There's a big fascial web in the chest, to the abs, to the hips, to the leg. And it's like you're just one big bodysuit. So keep exploring. People always ask me, where should I feel this stretch? Well, you can feel it all over your body because everything is connected. So for a moment here, relax your brain into the flow. Whatever is moving, whatever is not moving. 2 more breaths. Let the arms come down, but from here, step forward and come up into standing. So this is it. Let's come from mountain pose, feet shoulder width apart, hips level, shoulders level, takes me a minute, arms spun open, abdominals pulled in. So everything we've done before, balance on one leg. So step on one leg, draw the other knee up and hold. Everything we've done before. A long, stacked spine. Hold on to this knee if you can. Twist that leg open and hold if you can. We've just done a lot of stretches and exercises that did this very thing. All we're adding now is balance. And balance is the hardest thing. Cross the ankle over the other thigh. Maybe stay holding on to this foot. And reach the other arm up overhead. That's it. And then come down. Let's try that again. I know balance is hard. I'm with you there. So find mountain pose. The balance, right and left, forward and back, the soles of the feet. Draw the other knee up and hold. Remember, we're bracing the abdominals. We're breathing the ribs. The head is slightly back. Hold on to the knee without compromising the spine. So whatever we're doing, we're always integrating it into the health of the spine. Twist if you want this leg and hold on to the foot and the knee in front of you. And then bring the foot to the upper inner thigh. Maybe hold on to that foot. And stretch the other arm up overhead. And then come down. Good. Let's bring our hands together. You did it. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, extend up and back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, forward fold. Widen your feet. Bend your knees. We are going to come all the way to the floor. And I'll pick you up there. But if you can manage this little low squat for a moment, this might feel really good on that low back. Then we'll come all the way down. So let's come all the way down to the back. When you get there, kick one leg up, stretch it, grab it and pull it in toward you. Like it to freeze kind of right where you are without managing, directing, or changing anything, I want you to notice what your mind is doing right now. Then, as it relates to holding, like what muscles are clenched, how is your mind relating to those muscles? Is your mind telling those muscles to hold, or are those muscles doing it on their own? Now, take a slow, deep breath with the purpose of relaxing the mind's grip on forcing the muscles to hold. So kind of release. Do that again. One deep, long breath whose express purpose is to direct the mind to release its grip on thinking it needs to control everything all of the time. Let's go over slowly to the other leg. So one leg up, if you can, grab it, pull it in. If you have the strap, there's another option. Now do that same practice. First, notice what your mind is doing. Then notice what muscles are under the direct control and what muscles are just doing something on their own. Now take a breath and direct your mind to release some control. Explore the healthy, positive connections in the mind and the body, and release those negative ones. Good. Let's take that leg down and move all the way into Shavasana. So become as comfortable as you can. Legs turned open, arms spun out, chin down. Close your eyes. Now I invite you to begin to notice your feet and your legs and let them relax. Now begin to notice your hips and your back and let them soften. Breathe in. Just let that breath go. Reconnecting with nature's organic rhythm. Inhale to let light stream. Through all of the airways, the energy paths inside of you. As you exhale, you become more connected, more relaxed, more focused. And with each breath, you return to a natural state of abundance. Slowly begin to roll to your side. Open your eyes and then push up and off the floor. Come all the way back up and take a seat. Bring the hands together at the heart, swim the shoulders onto the back. Bring the ear to one shoulder and then the ear to the other shoulder. Bring the head up. Inhale and circle up, stretch. Exhale, circle back, bring the hands back together. I bow to the beauty that resides in you. Namaste.